Hey guys, it's Shauna with Just Try to Be Nice, and this is video 2 of my prayer journal. And as I said in video 1, I'm so excited to share this with you. This just brings me so much joy as a mother, as a Christian, as an artist. It's my greatest accomplishment as far as an artist goes, so I'm so proud to share it with you guys. And I showed you in the last video what is in front of the first part of the prayer journal, which is my prayers, my praise, and my gratitude journal. And now you come into the actual Bible, and there is a page for each book of the Bible. Some pages, like Psalms, have more than one page. I think Psalms has 4 pages, and some of the Gospels have more than one page. But there is a page for each book of the Bible, and there's a picture which either just depicts what happens in that book, or a Bible verse from the book, or a pretty picture with Bible verses. So I'm going to just jump right into it. And the first thing that you see is you see the Old Testament. And that's what I have up here, the Old Testament. And it says Testament, a covenant or promise. It is a collection of books that span 1,000 years. It is separated into the Torah, or the Pt2, or the first 5 books. Then the historical books, followed by the prophets, which is divided by major and minor prophets, therefore may not be in the proper order. The last part is the wisdom or the writings. The Old Testament is the old way. It is important to refer to this often for perspective on today's expectations. And then around the outside, I have all the books of the Old Testament. And I can't remember them all because it's been so long since I did this, but when I first did this, I could tell you each one. And Christians that know the books of the Bible better will know them. But this is the Garden of Eden, and that's that's Adam and Eve. That's Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And then I can't remember what this is. And then that's Noah's Ark, and that's the Tower of Babylon, and that's David and Goliath. And then this is like First Kings, Second Kings, something like that. First John, Second John, it's something like that. Then the serpent, and then a baby, I can't remember, somebody on fire maybe. And then this is Joseph in the well. Joseph and his brothers threw him in the well. And then I can't quite remember what that is either. Maybe that's Bathsheba. I can't remember. And then they're lost in the desert for 40 years. And then that's another one that's like First Samuel, Second Samuel. And then this, I believe, is First, Second, and Third John. And then this is, I can't remember. And then I think that's Song of Solomon, because he falls in love. And then this is First and Second something. And then I can't remember what that is either, 13. Oh, but then I remember that this is First and Second Kings, because it's a little crown. And then that's Song of Solomon. So this is Ruth. That's Ruth. And then this is Song of Solomon, and that's Daniel, because it's a lion. And then that's Jonah, and that's Zechariah, and 400 years go by. So that's what I put in the Old Testament. And then in my New Testament one, where's the New Testament? Here, I'll show you just real quick. I did the same thing with the New Testament. So there's all the important things that happen in the New Testament, but you'll have to wait for that video to see the rest of that. So when you first get to the New Testament, the very first book of the Bible is Genesis. See? Genesis. And I have a picture of Adam and Eve. And this is Eve eating the apple, and it says, "What is this that you have done?" And God is depicted as a cloud a lot because he used to be a pillar of fire, or he used to be seen as a pillar of fire or cloud. So that's why I drew him as a cloud. And then and let me tell you, like, I used to read Genesis all the time, okay? But I never actually read it as a book. And a whole lot of stuff happens in Genesis. I was like overwhelmed with the amount of things that happen in that book that I have to include in this 2 pages. And, you know, even still to this day, I'm like, wow, a lot of stuff went down in Genesis, and I never really realized that. So I've got Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and then I've got Noah in the flood, and Noah did all that the Lord commanded him, 40 days and nights, and I've got the animals in the ark. And then never again will I destroy all the living creatures of the earth, because after the flood there was a promise. And then Abraham, look up to the heavens and count the stars, so shall your offspring be. So that's Abraham looking up to the stars. And then down here I have the creation story. And this is Genesis 1:1 through 1:11. And God spoke, and our world was created. And on day 1 he created the world. And on day 2, he created the water and the sky. And on day 3, he created the plants and the trees. And on day 4, he created the sun and the moon. And on day 5, he created the fish and the mammals and the fish and the birds. And on day 6, he created the mammals and the people. And on day 7, he rested and celebrated. So that's the creation story, which that was a lot harder than you would think. It looks kind of like, oh, that's easy. Why didn't I think of that? But that was tough. And then you've got Joseph in his Technicolor dream coat and his 3 brothers who are looking very jealous. And then Joseph was thrown into the well. So this is inside the well, and these are, you know, the 20 pieces of silver, envy, anxiety, malice, rage. Even saints are tested. And so these are all like the sins that, you know, this is Joseph inside the well. So that's what it would look like if he was inside the well looking up. And this is my absolute favorite Bible verse, and it says, "As for you, you meant evil against me. God meant it for good to bring pass as it is his day." And get it? Faith is inside of there. And this is my all-time favorite Bible verse, because whatever bad crap happens to you in life, it's okay, because it was all in the plan. God intended for you to go through that for whatever reason. You have to learn whatever it was that you were supposed to learn from it, learn it, because God meant for it to happen to you. And then I have this because Joseph, it dreams. Joseph has dreams where he sees a wine glass, and the Lord was with Joseph, and he showed him these dreams, and he showed him that there would be a famine, and because of that, Joseph was able to save everybody. So I drew a pretty picture of a wine glass and some grapes, and then the wheat that Joseph saw. And then you flip over, and then the next thing that you see is Exodus. And in Exodus, you have the story. Oh, sorry, wait. Moses. I'm sorry. My bad. The next thing is Moses. And so here's a picture of Moses. Wait. Yeah. So here's a picture of Moses. She placed him among the reeds, and so here's a picture of Moses in the reeds. And then here's a picture of the burning bush, and it says, "I will be with you. I have chosen you to free my people." And then you've got Exodus, and then you've got the plagues. You've got all the different plagues. And there's boils, there's toads, there's flies, there's mosquitoes, there's all the animals dying, there's no sun, there's rain, and then the water turns to blood. So I've got all the plagues that came in there. And then down here, you've got trust in the Lord, and he will deliver you from your struggles. And this is Moses separating the Red Sea. And then, as I said before, God always appears. He appeared to Moses as a cloud or as a pillar of fire. So that's why I have those there. And then this is a picture of Moses carrying the 10 Commandments. And then these are the 10 Commandments. So that's what those are. And then you flip over to Leviticus. Now, I was stuck on Leviticus for quite a while because Leviticus is kind of boring and there's not a whole lot of story. It's just basically like a rule book. So that's what I went with. I was like, this is a bunch of rules, so let's write them down. So this is what it says. Rules, rules, and more rules. This book takes place before Moses and his people make it to Mount Sinai. Oh, that's what that was, by the way. The mountain, it was Mount Sinai. It is a collection of 613 laws and rules for God's people to follow and obey. It is a guide on how to be holy. Obey the laws and the Lord has given to you. And so I have it on, like, it's like a piece of parchment paper. Let's see. And then over here I have food. There are laws about what foods you could and could not eat and how to eat them. Love. There are laws about what is love and how you should and should not show it. Let me tell you, that was tough because this book is meant for my children. So I can't be all like, man shall not lie down with man and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I dealt with that. And then the Sabbath. There are many laws that involve the Sabbath and how to keep it holy. There are a lot of rules for the priests to follow and teach. So that's what I did for Leviticus. And then the next book is the book of Numbers. And what I did here was, Numbers is Bob begat Robert, who begat Roberta, who begat Roberta et, who begat Roberta et tetet, and so on and so on. And there's not a whole lot of story going on there either. So what I did was, these are actual names that were in the book of Numbers. They're actual names. And I just drew them in like a family tree because it's basically, that's what Numbers is. It's this is the family tree for this person, and this is a family tree for this person. So it's basically a family tree. And I've got the actual names, not all of them, but a lot of the names that are mentioned in Numbers are the roots of the tree, are the branches of the tree. And then down underneath it says, the Lord loves all his children, and he has numbered them all in his heart. So, you know, that's important that my girls know that the Lord has numbered you, and you are in his book, and you are in his heart, and he loves you. And then over here, I have a Seder plate, just a Seder plate, a Passover Seder plate, because I didn't know what else to draw. So there's horseradish, lettuce, I'm an egg. And then this says shank bone, and then parsley. And then this is salt water, so it's water with salt in it. And then this is apples, nuts, and honey. I have no idea. I would assume it's like a butter of some kind, but I just drew it like that. And then remember the Passover and keep it holy. And then I have some Stars of David back there because this is Jewish holiday, which they still celebrate to this day. And my girls actually love this page. It's one of their favorite pages. Hannah loves the shank bone. She thinks that's the funniest. And Kylie loves the horseradish. She thinks it looks like he's a thing of French fries. And then you turn it over and you've got Deuteronomy. And Deuteronomy was difficult, so I just picked out a couple verses from Deuteronomy that really stuck out, and then I just drew a really pretty picture behind it. And then what I have here is I have, God chose you out of all people of the earth as his greatest treasure. And so I have just a really pretty bird sitting here with a crown full of treasure. And that is Deuteronomy 14:2. And then here's just a pretty flower, and here's another pretty flower. And then this is God's love in Chinese. And the Lord will lead the way. He is always with you. He will never, ever leave you. He will never, ever forsake you. He will not forget you. No need to fear. No need to be dismayed. And there you go. And then this is the story of Joshua. And in Joshua, it was the wall of Jericho. So I have a wall of Jericho. My son, give glory to the Lord and give him praise. And then, O sun, stand still. So the sun stood still. And in the story, in this book of Joshua, there was no sun. They told the sun to stand still, and it did. So I included that. And then this is now entering the promised land, because all of this was just them wandering through the desert ever since, like, Exodus, which is, hold on, sorry, Exodus is here. All of this is just them wandering through the desert, not knowing what to do. So they finally get to the promised land in Joshua. And it says, it was the Lord your God who fought for you. Be very strong. Be careful to obey the book of law. Hold fast to the Lord your God and love the Lord with all your heart, for he has delivered you. And that's now entering the promised land. And I kind of imagine that that's what they would have seen entering into the promised land. And then you flip over. Oh, and this is Judges. This is the book of Judges. And this was online. This was from like a book. And I just, these are the judges. These are all the different judges. These are their actual names. And I just drew a picture for each of the judges. And if I remember correctly, this is from a TV, like a series for kids called What's in the Bible. And when they were showing the judges individually on the YouTube video, I would pause it and trace it off my computer. So that's how I got the pictures. I straight up traced them off my computer. So that's the judges. And I've left it open here, so if I ever want to come back and add something else, I can. But that's all that's really necessary. And this is the same. This is Ruth. And Ruth has got some pretty flowers, and there's a girl holding wheat, and it says, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. And to be honest with you, that is really, like, the most important thing about Ruth. There's some room here. There's some room here. If I want to add in later, I can, but I don't have to. And as you see, I've continued the border over on this side, too. So they go together like that. And then you flip over, and you've got 1 Samuel. And this was online on Pinterest. I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me what I asked of him. And then that is a picture of Hannah. And this is Hannah sad and praying for her child. And then this is Hannah pregnant and a little like, oh no, what did I pray for? And then this is happy Hannah with her baby. And my Hannah absolutely loves these Hannahs. And speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. And then down here it says, my heart exalts in the Lord, I rejoice in my victory. And then, for the battle is the Lord's. And then this is cute. It's peace be with you, and peace be to your home and family. It's a rebus. I just felt like being funny and doing a rebus. It kind of fit because you got a lot going on here, so you want a lot going on here too. God will unleash us into the purpose for which we were born. And then here is a picture of David slaying Goliath, and it says, no problem is too big for our God. And then that's it. Okay, I'm going to stop 15 minutes. So that's 1 Samuel, and we will start at 2 Samuel in the next video, and I hope you are enjoying these, because I am sure enjoying going through them with you. Talk to you soon.